Hi, I'm Gary, and I just got here. Getting the live stream started. Trying to pull up the video now so that I can see what everybody is saying. Here we go. Looky there. Rob and Kevin's on. Hi, guys. And it's going to be a little bit of lag. I set it for ultra low, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Robert and Alan, know your Joe. Dan's on, pretty good. David's on. So, yeah, so like I said in this morning's video, this video is not going to be so much about building as much as getting the parts out of old airplanes that I'm going to need to be able to power this up and make it do what I need it to do. So I actually got two planes, the F-15, which went down in the field, tore it up pretty bad. So, hey, there's Gary's on. Glenn's on, that's awesome. Hey, guys. Jermaine. Lots of people getting on there. We're up to 16 already. That's pretty good for me. So, but like I got the front end that broke off of the F-15. I have an old FT Scout that I bought at a swap meet, and it is just getting to the point where I don't want to fix it anymore. The wing's loose, and motor is completely broke off again. Yeah, so it's got everything that I need right here, except for maybe wheels, because the kit doesn't come with wheels. But I do have the F-15 wheels. I think the mains were just a little bit bigger than this one. So here's what's left of the F-15. And so I ordered the motor that FT has on their website in the Power Pack B, I think it is. It was $25 just for the motor. And it's actually capable of 4S. So I know this speed controller is set up for 4S. So if I want to get a small, like a 1300, for a quad type battery, I can put that on the front end of this thing and it will scream. So I am going to use this ESC and not the one in that airplane. I could use the motor and the speed controller right out of that Simple Scout, because it's already set up for it, but I wanted to go something a little bit bigger, something a little special just for this airplane. So, yeah, the duck. I know they like to call it the duck. So, anyways, it's just got a little piece of plastic covering up the speed controller. So I'm just going to peel this off, and then I can just get access to the speed controller. It's just these 3 wires plugged in here. Rob just lives down the street. I need to have him here one of these days to help me read what everybody's saying. But I'm just going to unplug it. And I'm going to leave these little banana plugs on here for the ducted fan. I'm hoping to do some kind of a wacky project with this ducted fan at some point. Cut it off, mount it to something for power. You know what I was thinking about? I've been watching The Mandalorian, and I've seen these guys flying silhouette things that look like Superman and stuff. What if they make a Mandalorian and put this on the back on his back like a backpack, this would look just like the jet thing that he wears. That would look pretty cool. So I don't know if I'll ever do that, but I thought that would be cool to save it just in case. And at some point maybe the speed controller could be part of that. But for this build I'm going to use it. It's an E-Flight 40 amp, the EFLA 1140W. So, but I know it works with the 4S and the 3S obviously. And here's the wires for the servos that are still on the plane, including a Y harness in case I'll probably connect up the servos separate to the receiver so that I can have sub trims for both ailerons, but it's there if I need it at some point. Nice. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for hopping on. So, and Brian, I see Brian's on there. Sorry if I missed anybody. I've been trying to keep up. Anyways, we're going to unhook these so that I can get the servos. Actually, this one's not attached anymore because that wing's gone. It's still in a field. They had electric fence around the field that wing ended up in. The rest of the plane was on this side of the fence, so I could grab it, but I couldn't get to the rest of it. And we'll leave that because I don't need that. Well, I might need the extension. We'll see. And then, yeah, this is the ailerons. So, it's connected right under here for this servo. You put this piece of tape over this connection when you put it together. I did. Oh, look at that. I flashed out for a second. Anyways, this is already stripped out where it was connected, or I used it for another plane. Well, we just need to dig that out of there. And I don't want to put too much bind on the arm. But I did need to get my thumb up underneath there to pry it out. And it'll end up being in there with some hot glue anyways. So, let's see. I want to get that. There we go. That's one servo. And then there's two right here that are just barely on there. And then the wires fed up through here underneath this piece of tape. So, just need to pull that off like that. And there we go. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but that'll work. So that one's off. And they put little masking or scotch tape around these to hold them together. So I do need to just trim that just a little bit so I can pull this apart. There we go. That one has a nice long wire on it. That's handy because I'm thinking at least for the for this one, I'm thinking about mounting the servo right here to connect it up. So I don't have to run that wire all the way, and I'll be able to make adjustments if I need to. And let's see, one more over here. This one's already gone too. They blew off when you can see that broke when it hit. That would have been an easy fix if that was all. I would have fixed it. But since I lost the wing, and plus the whole front end obliterated pretty bad. So we'll give this a couple little cuts in the tape. I haven't been looking up at what you guys are saying, but oh, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. There's 2 servos. And to get these wheels off, or just the, the wheel and tire is all I want off of here. There isn't, you can take this off, but that doesn't really help me get the wheel and tire off. I need this piece here off. I didn't bring any kind of pliers or anything over here. Let me see what I got in the toolbox right here. So if these are too small, I have plenty of this size, which is a little bit bigger, and I'll end up using those, but got these little clamp things that I can get in there. So I might need like a flat blade screwdriver to finish getting those off of there. Yeah, not gonna be able to get that with this rig, but I'll get that later. I got 2 servos, or 3 servos out, and a speed controller. Motor's on the way, and a prop. So, hey RC, thanks for hopping on. So I need, let's see, there's 1 more servo in here, and the receiver, of course I need the receiver, and so I just pull this back. You see they use some kind of nasty white glue to put this down. So looks like, there we go. And I'll just unplug this for now. I'll have to take this, we won't do this live. I'll have to take it up to my desktop computer and reprogram it. Plus I got some bent pins I need to straighten out. But I'll have to reprogram it for the way this airplane works versus the jet. And so I have everything downloaded to be able to do that. And hey Paul, thanks for hopping on. Wayne's on there, nice. Snap the wing right, or the fuse right off at the wing, nice. That's awful. Sorry to hear that, Wayne. A little hot glue, right? A little more glue, as I like to say sometimes. Anyways, that's all I need to do there to get this off of there. And then I gotta work that out of there. There we go. So there, got that loose. It had a little bit of that glue that the receiver had on it. It's got a different kind of arm, but I believe I got arms that I can put on here. These are all Spectrum servos, so I like that. And then I'm probably not gonna use it for this, obviously, but I can save this for another application of some type. I was thinking maybe I could bend it at an angle and maybe use it for a tail wheel or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll save this. It's got a pretty heavy duty setup here for how it attaches. It goes clear through. This is hard plastic at the bottom. Let's try cutting that out of there just so we can see what it looks like. There we go. Well, I guess so. It was separated by the foam, but had a metal plate at the top and bottom. So, but we can still use it somehow. Figure out a way. And even if I got to put a block in there to fill that up. But that's a usable part later. And I didn't want to lose that. So I'll put that with the, I'll keep that with the airplane. That's all I need the parts. And all this is trash, obviously. And so I got the 4 servos, a receiver, and a speed controller. And a motor and a battery. I have plenty of batteries. So that's a pretty good start. What's it say? No sir, 5-minute epoxy and I'm ready to try again, right? Glue, glue, glue. I love my glue. I did crash this airplane when I was flying with the RC Sailors, and I was able to, because it was a pretty decent brake, pretty clean brake, I was able to just hot glue it back into place and fly it again just, I don't know, not even a half hour later. So, oh, Wayne, yeah, this thing got tore up really bad. And so it was at the point where I couldn't get it glued back together straight enough to fly. Someday I might get another one. I tell you what, that Viper flies so much better than this. So if I get another one of the fighter type jets, I'm gonna get it'll be bigger, like 80 millimeter, or at least the 70, so I can have retracts on it too. Alright, I got the hot glue gun ready to go in case I wanted to do some more assembly. It is 8:48, so I can still, this part gets glued on, and then the rudder gets glued on, which I haven't got the rudder out yet. Let's pop that out real fast. It's right here, and then this piece right here is to check your angles for the deflection on the control surfaces later on. So I don't want to lose that. I'll set that right here to save it. We need to pop this out of there. There we go. Nothing left in this piece of foam. And then need to right there and there. And I think I just watched the video, and I believe he trims it on the rudder side. So we're going to trim where their lines weren't very straight there. That'll be all right. Anyways, we'll trim this at whatever they called that, 40 degrees or whatever. Not cutting into the paper, because that's what's creating the hinge. Just like this. There we go. And this is where the little wooden arms for the push rods will go. have these are super sharp X-Acto blades. In fact, I don't know this for certain, but I believe they're for surgical application, or they used to be. My dad has had these forever, and I don't have a clue where he got them from. But I got a bunch of them, and so I've been using them. And I've been really careful not to get myself with it. We don't want to do any red painting tonight. So maybe a little more. That wasn't quite the right angle. Let's see how that looks. Alright, so that's much better for the angle. That one looks like it'll do about the same amount. So that'll look pretty good. Plug your PC in. Give me a second, guys. Thought it was plugged in already. Alright. So I know that they go through and they put a skim of hot glue on here and then basically wipe it all off to try and strengthen it. I don't think it does that much. I've tried it before, didn't seem to help much. So we're going to skip that step. We're going to glue this on here and then glue that over top of it. So to put this on here, the contact points are all along here, here, here. And I don't have to put it on here as much as on here. If I put it on here, then I might miss the targeted spot. Well, thanks, guys. That's nice of you guys to say. We got some hot glue here ready to go, and I keep getting the comment, who's giving me the thumbs down? I got no idea. It doesn't, of course, YouTube isn't going to tell me who's doing that, and it doesn't really matter. Any kind of interaction helps out, so I'll take it. As long as it's just one person and everybody else is happy with what I'm doing, we should be good. Just like that. And then I want to hinge towards the downside, or yeah, that's going to be downside. I've already fit this into place. So it should just push right in there, just like that. I'm going to hold it for a few seconds. Right, it's the FT Simple Scout, guys, and I'm going to fly it on February 4th. That's why I'm doing a live build again this soon. Got to have it done. I want to put some, I got one of those cutting tools so I can cut my own graphics. I want to be able to put some cool stuff on here just for that flight. And it looks like it's solid. So now the tail goes on, and it's going to go in there. This little piece has to be inside here. And then it'll push down. Oh, I forgot, you always pinches these, so it's a little bit tapered to fit down in there. So get it just like this. This piece goes in there. Then it slides down into If I can get it. There we go. Just like that. And then just like this one, I will put these push rods in here to stiffen that up so it doesn't get cockeyed, because it's not much holding that straight. And then I noticed, so what I've done on the other Scout is use push rods in the wingtips. I noticed they use like pieces of rulers or something to stiffen up those, so we'll go back and do that. But after you see that it looks good, like this, then you take it and lift it up. Well, you're supposed to just lift it up, but I'm gonna take it out, put glue here, and then put it back in there. So that way I know that I'm not, because he did it and he got it all over the place. So this way I know I'm hitting the exact spot. Stop just a few little distance there from that. There we go. Just like that. And then wrap that around there. Should have hit that opening just a little bit. There we go. I'll fit it down in there. Just like that. Hold it in place. Use that 90-degree square. He keeps telling you to put that on there and make sure it's straight. This will be more important when I put the barbecue skewers in there. Yep, Nate and Abby are really good friends of mine, and I do enjoy watching their videos more than most people's, and they always putting out fresh new product to look at, so that makes it interesting too. So now I did this, made that little mistake right there, but I think I can squeeze it in there. Boy, I did that wrong. I hear it. Ooh, there we go. I'm gonna hot glue all that into place, so, and then the barbecue skewers will stiffen that up some, so no harm, no foul. It's in there now, and that's where the connection goes, so it's important to have that there to stiffen that up. So now that I've done that, we're just going to shoot a little bit on each side. And then you just pinch it and hold it there. And then you kind of got to get this. The idea is to get it a certain, ooh, that's hot. Burn. But this piece is going to have to fit in there. So I might have to trim it just a little bit, because now I'm pinching it tight. I guess I'll let that, but whatever it's got to be, it's going to be about there. Like that. I do still have to put the servo in there for the rudder, so I don't want that on there quite yet, but that's how it's going to look. And in fact, now that it's all together, I'm going to shoot, I can't get it in there, but I was going to say I could hit the bottom side of that little tab just to fix it a little more, but I'm not going to. Oh yeah, I brought some water down. So now we got the tail surfaces. and it looks pretty straight when I sit there and hold it like that. I noticed I was right about these two spots. This is where those formers are going to go. And then this is just the cockpit. That'll come out. And one thing that he talks about but he doesn't do in his video, so if I'm going to use their landing gear, it's just a little piece that folds over. This thing here folds over and goes in here like this. And that's all that's going to hold the landing gear in place. And he talks about using a gift card to stiffen that. So if I'm going to do that, which I think I will, unless I can find more of those landing gear like I got off the P-51. I'm not finding that other airplane anywhere. I'm hoping it's in my reuse pile, but anyways, if I don't find it, I'm going to put gift cards in here and glue them into place. So I'll decide that by the next video, but that'll make it so that this is a piece that wore out really fast in that airplane and the other airplane. So put that in there, and on this when you fold it over, because this part has this part right here. If I can get it to come loose, this part right here comes out. Trim that just a little bit. There we go. Alright. So all this comes out, and then it's going to fold over like this with the landing gear on the inside, and then this V like that, and then you tape it, and then it just holds the landing gear and slides into here, which it's kind of snug, brand new of course, but just after a couple hard landings that gets really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit in the gift cards around it to get it really strong if I'm going to go this route. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll make that decision by the next one. But for what I am going to do for sure is put the rudder servo back here. One of these ones with the longer lead. This one, like this. And mount it back here. And so it's in like this to control it. Because they want you to glue it inside, way back here somewhere, and run push rod, and it bows real hard. And I just want it a little more stiff. Because if I'm going to run 4S, I want a little bit better strength back here for the rudder and elevator. So I'm going to see if I can't figure out a way to do it external. Thanks, Dave. I mean, it's kind of what they were talking about, but on their video they just didn't do it. And so yeah, so before I put the bottom on, I'm going to figure out the servo part. So can't do that now. These formers go on right here and here, but I can't do that until I put the bottom on. I can glue them up real quick. That was simple. Just gonna put a little glue like this. Maybe a little bit right there. And just get it nice and straight. You wanna, this is where they put their tear line is center, so you wanna make sure that those are lined up. That way it helps with the build when you get to that step, because it's how you line up the black construction paper. So even if I don't put the elevator servo on the side, I'm thinking about putting it up here somewhere to pull up. I like the idea of the elevator pulling up, but those will go like that. This one the same way. Just a little bit of glue. We'll put some here to hold that paper. I'm gonna hold it for a few seconds. And I just push that on. I'm not gonna glue it into place because you need to be able to roll it over and lay it flat on the table when you start putting this piece on. Just like that. And we'll stick that one on there. And then there's another piece that's going to go up here, and we won't even mess with that one right now, but it's going to mount up here. In fact, I think, yeah, it's got a score line, and it's going to have me peel all this part off. That's what it says to do. And we'll do it because the paper won't be lined up right if I don't. So I'll go ahead and do the removal here. So that's how that's supposed to be done. And then it'll glue right here. And then it'll fold. It folds up under like that to hold it in place. So we'll do that later though. These pieces should be dry now. We'll save those for later. I think this is part of the power pod. So we need to build that. I'm gonna wait till the motor comes. We can put these on. So these are the little horns, control horns they call them. And so this one will go on this side, or actually this side, because they put a little notch here for it to feed into when it pulls. The other side would hit. So it'll go on this side, and then on this one, I'm going to put it on top. They built it with on the bottom, but I'm going to put it on top and put a servo somewhere in here to pull on that. Just a little bit shorter distance for the I might put it down here and put the servo inside. Just make it really short. We'll get that figured out. So I'm not going to glue those in place now. And here's some of the tape I'll need when I do this part. We'll wrap it around and tape with the thick wire here. You measure and you bend it in half, and it'll, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a triangle shape or a 90-degree bend or whatever, and so we need it to fit in there. and then you bend it and bend it out to hold the wheels. They'll be on the ends. I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So I guess we don't really need to steal any of the parts out of the other Scout. In fact, maybe I'll hot glue it back together so they can fly, and we'll fly all three of them on the same day. Maybe that shouldn't be too hard to get that one ready to fly again. I just haven't messed with it. And I've not been reading the guys' chat. Yeah, I have done my share of flying in the rain, that is for sure. I saw that the flight test guys have announced when they're having their next event here in Ohio. And this last year we were at that one, and I flew in a crazy downpour. Save the red tail. Yeah. We'll get that one back together so it can fly again. I always enjoyed flying it. The biggest problem was the landing gear. I couldn't get it fixed up, but now that I know the trick with the gift cards, we'll probably do that. So I don't think I'm ready to do any more on it tonight. I'll have to find another one of these. I have piles of them, but I'll need to find another one to replace there's this one servo that's got the wrong kind. It's designed to slide on that nose wheel, so I'll replace that with one similar to these, and we'll be able to get all these mounted up in there. I'm going to use these two really long ones in the wing for the ailerons, and then this will be for either the rudder or the elevator, and then this really short one will need an extension. And then speed controller. And the new motor is supposed to be here Friday, so maybe another build on Saturday night. And I'll be ready to build up the power pod, and we'll get the wings slid into place. I'll decide where I'm going to have these servos. We can mount the servos in the wing. After we get the wing in there, you can't do it before you slide it into place. But I don't want the wing on there until after I get the bottom on. So yeah, that's all gonna wait for. I'm gonna decide where those go first. I want to do it just a little bit better than the other ones were, because it seemed like every time I crashed, the servos would, because you just hot glue them in here, it seemed like they'd break loose, and then you can never get them straight again. So I'm thinking if I put it into a hole, it's not going to break loose, and if it does, the hole's there to glue it back into place. So that's why I want to do it that way. And I will reprogram this before the next live build so that we can power up all the servos and get them nice and straight. And I'll have my transmitter bound up. So that'll be exciting. Alright guys, I think I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. Not a super long video, but I wanted to get started. And appreciate all you guys hopping on here. And if you don't mind, hit that thumbs up button right there. And if you got any comments, if you're watching this later on, leave some comments down below. I'm going to go back and read what everybody has put in the chat. I am enjoying this, even though sometimes it seems like it's going slow because I'm thinking as I'm doing it with you guys. And I do appreciate all your guys' support. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe and the notification bell. And I'll be flying again tomorrow morning. As always, I'm Gary, and I just got here.